thou shall not be boring and dull.
Right.
अरे यार, पब्लिक को यही चाहिए होता है, यही सब चलता है यार आजकल. That time the highest paid writer used to get something like 70,000, 80,000. We decided we will take 2 lakhs. So this producer said, "Eh, जो मेरे को बोला था इसको भी बोलना."
सबसे पहले तो मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा कि जावेद साहब क्यों हैं? जब गुलजार की बात होती है तो वो गुलजार साहब होते हैं. जब यश चोपड़ा जो कि फिल्म मेकर हैं उनकी बात होती है तो वो यश जी होते हैं. जब महेश भट्ट की बात होती है जो कि राइटर एंड डायरेक्टर हैं तो वो भट्ट साहब बन जाते हैं. इज साहब एसोसिएटेड विद राइटिंग?
I suppose it has something to do with the seniority and continuity over decades that you get this Sahab. Like one day I asked Zakir Sahab, the famous tabla player, that how does one become Pandit or Ustad in music? He said it's a mystery. One day you realize that somebody has decided that you are a Pandit, or some people have decided that you are a Ustad and you become a Ustad. So I suppose when I had come, I was 19 years old when I joined film industry. I wrote my first film before becoming 20. And for many years I was Javed. But then people who came much later than me, they started giving me some respect because of my seniority. Besides that, even my colleagues call me Javed Sahab only because I never call them Tum, or I don't call them by their names. Now you are at least 20 years younger than me, if not more.
Right.
I never call you Shekhar, Mena, no, never.
Right.
So I'll call you Shekhar Sahab. So now you are, you have no choice, you have to call me Javed Sahab.
But for the longest, your name was actually Jadoo, and your friends actually call you Jadoo. Jadoo, of course, meaning magic, and you're named after your father's poem. Take us through that in the sense of, is that what you respond to first? Which is the name that you respond to first?
It's an interesting story, I must tell you. I was born in Gwalior, although my family belongs to Lucknow. And it was just a matter of coincidence. I have never lived in Gwalior, but my mother was there. My father was teaching in a college there, so she went, and that is where I was born. So once I was talking to a senior poet and I objected on certain words that he had used. I said, this is not the right way of using it. He said, आप जहाँ के हैं वहाँ के लोगों को मैं linguist नहीं मानता हूँ. So I thought he wouldn't know that I was born in Gwalior by chance, so, and not Lucknow. So I said, मैं कहाँ का हूँ? कहते आप ग्वालियर में पैदा हुए हैं. तो मैंने कहा कि एक बात बताइए कि बिल्ली अगर अवन में जाके बच्चे दे देती है तो आप उन्हें बिस्किट कहते हैं क्या? तो हुआ ये कि when I was born in Gwalior, my father was a hardcore communist card holder, and so were his friends. So they came from the Communist Party office to congratulate the parents. And somebody pointed out, do you know one thing? When in Muslims, a child is born, उसके कान में कुरान पढ़ते हैं. तो तुम क्या करने वाले हो? So he looked around, and one of them had a communist manifesto in his hand. So he took that communist manifesto. और मेरे कान में, workers of all the nation unite, for you have nothing to lose but your chains. So in my communist manifesto was read when I was born. Then the second question was, what should be the name of the child? So somebody pointed out that when you married your wife, you had written a poem, and there was a line in it, lamha lamha kisi jadoo ka fasana hoga. So why don't you, अब तो यही जादू है, यही हुआ है पैदा, तो तुम इसी का नाम. तो for first 2 years, my name was only Jadoo, 2 or 2.5 years. Then when they decided to send me to kindergarten or wherever, then somebody said कि भाई ये तो तमाशा होगा, बच्चा तुम भेज रहे हो, बच्चे का नाम जादू, सब लोग हंसेंगे, तो कुछ नाम रखो इसका. तो my name is Javed because of my pet name. तो उनका अच्छा भाई पेट नेम से मिलता जुलता कोई नाम रख दो. तो आमतौर से क्या होता है कि योर नेम इज केप्ट एंड योर पेट नेम इज ड्रॉन आउट ऑफ इट. मेरा ज़रा उल्टा हो गया.
Now, sir, this session is essentially on cardinal sins of cinema. And it's born out of the fact, and that's what the brief that was given to me, is a line by Frank Capra, who said that there are no rules in filmmaking. There is one cardinal sin, and that sin is to never be dull.
You see, since it is a cardinal sin, we should change the vocabulary. Thou shalt not be boring and
Correct. Thou shalt not go. Right.
That's true. You see, genres per se are neither good nor bad. You can make a absurd comedy, as just now they were talking about Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, and it was a good film. And you can make Devdas. You can make a historical. You can make a contemporary film. You can make a realistic film. You can make a fantasy. You can make a melodrama. You can make a musical, whatever. No genre is good or bad in its own. In every genre, you can make a very bad film and very good film. Somebody, as a matter of fact, a couple of times in my interviews or Q&A sessions, someone has asked me this question. I've heard it more than once. आपने बहुत blockbusters लिखी हैं, super hit फिल्में लिखी हैं. What is the secret of writing a super hit film? I tell them, I wish I knew it. So every time I would have written a Sholay. But I can give you a foolproof way of making a flop film. Believe me, this will not fail. The picture will fail. One, that you decide that this is what people want. अरे यार, पब्लिक को यही चाहिए होता है. ये डाल दो, यहाँ फाइट रख दो, यहाँ ये गाना रख दो, यही सब चलता है यार आजकल. One. Another way, I want to say something great. I want to make a statement, something universal, something big, something profound. You'll make a very boring film. Because either ways, when anybody would tell you that when you aim on your eye level. Either ways, you are not using the eye level. Either you are shooting down or you're shooting up. Either ways, it's not your eye level. So it is insincere, it is pretentious, it is dishonest, and as a matter of fact, if I may say so, contemptuous. Because you are not sincere. If you want to make in log ko aise, if you have contempt for your audience, then how can you relate to them? And if you have contempt for yourself, because saying something great, what does it mean? Something which is above you. If it is of your level, you won't say it is great, it is logical, it is reasonable, this is what has to be said and so on. This idea of saying something profound, it means something much better than me, higher than me, then you don't like yourself. So either way, we have seen many films which have been made this way and they have been terrible. The only way, if you can make a film, and there is no guarantee that that film will be a success, but the only way you can make a good or successful film is by believing in whatever you are making. Manmohan Desai, I have had the fortune of working with him in a film, and I knew him personally very well. He was not making the film for the people. He was making the film for himself. There was a child in him. He was excited about the way he wanted to see the film which he was making. That was his conviction. That was his belief. That would give him a thrill. And that thrill, that conviction, that belief, that excitement was conveyed to the audience. So many people tried to imitate that formula. It fell flat on its face because they did not have that enthusiasm that Manmohan Desai had. He meant it. He really enjoyed making them. I don't know why, what is the science behind it. But if I sit in a hotel room with closed doors in Pune or in Mahabaleshwar and I write a scene all alone, And when I am writing that scene, tears come to my eyes. Then this scene will go to the director. The director will explain it to the actor. The actor will perform in front of the camera. A cameraman will shoot it. Then it will go to an editor who will edit the scene. Then it will be printed in a lab. And then it will be released in Jabalpur. The man in the Jabalpur sitting in the auditorium will cry if I had cried in that room. And will not cry if I had not. Now, what is in spite of so many people in between, how this sincerity is conveyed, this is a mystery. And this insincerity, if I say, "Theek hai yaar, good enough, ye ho gaya," it will hit. If I am doing it with cleverness, it won't work that. I don't mean that every time when I'm sincere it will work, but that's the only way it can work.
Joseph, that's for things that you will not do. But is there any particular commandment that you've had as a writer when you sit down to write that you will certainly do or you're faltering? One instance I will give you is where you've spoken about how there should be brevity in dialogue, that it should be crisp when you're writing dialogue or when you're writing a screenplay. And that there should not be punchline after punchline because the punchline will lose its value if it's always there. There's regular talk and then a punchline. Are there similar rules that you've had when you're writing screenplay, more rules such as these? Or if you can elaborate on this particular one itself?
I think any creative art cannot have any hard and fast rule. It's a matter of instinct. Now let's forget the screenplay and dialogue and stories and sagas, so on. Forget that. Narrating a joke, narrating a little incident, orally. There are some people who will take the joke and narrate it interestingly, and some people will kill the joke. There are joke killers. Some of the joke killers don't differentiate between a joke and a novel. So they extend it so much that you get tired. People ask me, how do we become a writer? Or how do we become a lyricist? I think what is important is the intake. Writing is the last thing you should do. You should read as much as possible and all kind of literature. I am not saying only classics. Classics are very dangerous. Classics are very heavy and they can dry you up. So while reading classics, you should read popular literature, you should read paperbacks, you should read romantic novels, you should read thrillers and so on. So every kind of writing should balance each other. Your persona should not become older before you become youthful. And when you have so much of experience, you understand how masters use words, how characters are built, how scenes are made in plays or in novels or short stories. Then gradually, in a vocabulary, if you are writing the dialogue also, you have to have a huge vocabulary. That vocabulary will come only by reading writers, big writers, good writers. हम लोग ज़रा जिसको बोलते हैं म्यूजिक में रियाज, this riyaz is necessary in writing also. And what is the riyaz of writing? Reading. So if you have this repertoire, if you have a huge vocabulary, you know how a villager will speak, what will be the vocabulary, you know how a traditional person of upper middle class will speak, how a person on the street talks, and so on and so forth. You have all the words at your disposal. Only then you will be a capable dialogue writer. If you have structures, seen so many dramatic structures made by masters, then you will understand how you can create drama or effect and so on. हम लोग, nowadays there is a kind of inbreeding. We only want to learn from films. If you will learn from film, then you will only be able to offer what has come. Your sources should be not only the film, but from outside the film also.
But Javed Sahab, the art, or actually more the craft of screenwriting, that is something that you would have, I'm presuming, learned from film. You would have watched films and seen the way they progress. Two questions. One, take us through the process of learning. Second, and again, I'm basing on what you've said before, you wrote some of the finest screenplays in mainstream Hindi cinema that survive even now, but they went through no rewrites. You wrote them in one go, in 15 days, 18 days. Tell me how that worked also.
I'll give a lot of credit to Salim Saab. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, he held my hand as far as the screenplay writing is concerned. He learned it from the film that he had seen, and he'd seen a lot of classics, particularly from the Hollywood. Films of 40s, films of 30s, films of early 50s. So he had an idea that how the screenplay should be. It took me a little time to grasp that, but then I did. But I must say that he is the person who initiated me in screenplay writing. As far as the dialogue is concerned, I was comfortable because I had read so much of literature by the time I had finished my college. And I come from a family of writers and city of language called Lucknow. So language or dialogue was not my problem at all. I was privileged. But this craft, it took me a little time. But I must say that I can't forget Salim Saab's contribution in my life as far as the screenplay is concerned. Yes, and gradually when you keep on doing, you learn more. Now again, there is a danger. When we start some work, any work, whether acting, whether painting, singing, composing, writing, we don't have control on craft to that extent. But we have passion of a newcomer because there is so much inside us. We keep on consuming what is inside us and keep on gradually becoming more and more competent in our craft. And gradually we start respecting our craft. Passion comes down, craft goes up. That's a very dangerous sign. अगर choice है दोनों, both of them, what and how, both are important. Passion is what, technique is how. But if the choice is between what and how, I'll prefer what. Passion is more important. To save that passion in spite of your competence in craft is very difficult. Because craft is calculated. Craft is objectivity. Craft is clever. While this emotion, passion has certain element of madness, forgetfulness, involvement, total involvement, some innocence. To save this while to improve that is a kind of a paradox. But that is what art is all about. You see, a man is playing Hamlet. Now I'll give a physical example because that's easier. If he doesn't believe that he is a prince who cannot make up his mind, he can't play Hamlet. He has to convince himself. But at the same time, there is a chalk mark there and he has to take that light. So if he is totally convinced himself that he is the prince, then how does he read that chalk mark and take that light? If he takes that light, it means he is not believing that he is a prince. You have to do both the things. You have to convince yourself that you are a prince, and at the same time you have to remember the chalk mark, which are in a way incompatible. But this paradox creates art. The same way when you are writing, now this is latent, but the same process. When you are writing, you have to be totally involved in that feeling, that emotion, that pain that the character is going through. But at the same time, a part of you should look like a very clever referee or a guide who tells, no, don't go in that line. Don't use this word. It will change the meaning. come this way, come this way. There is more emotion on this side. That part of your mind is clever. This part is involved. It is contradictory, but that is how you function in any form of art.
Javed Sahab, you mentioned your screenwriting partner, Salim Khan. You and Salim Sahab were the team that still remains the biggest name in the history of Indian screenwriting. But there was another person in your team, and that person was Amitabh Bachchan. Because the character you created, the directors changed, the man, the actor remained the same, and people saw in that character various shades. Javed Sahab, you were also working at a time when all that mattered was money in the movies, not that it's any different now. But you did not falter along the lines, or at least you stuck to your guns when it came to thou shalt not pander to the superstar. You continued to make your films. Amitabh Bachchan was there, but your stories continues to change, although they had a running theme throughout. Two questions again. When and how did you and Amitabh Bachchan meet? Because I have not come across that story anywhere yet.
Yeah. I remember very clearly we were shooting some last scenes of Sita or Gita, perhaps. It was almost completed. Some patchwork. Or perhaps Andaz. On the next floor in Mohan Studio, shooting of Anand was going on. Kahin dur jab din dhal jaye. This song was being picturized. That's not my achievement, my friend. I have nothing to do with that. It was somebody else's song, somebody else's film, somebody else's direction. So anyway, because we knew Rajesh Khanna, we went on the set. And Rajesh Khanna was the god that time. So I saw a young man sitting in the corner, tall, young, slim person. Then somebody told me that he is working, he has a very important role in this picture, and so he is Harivansh Bachchan's son, Amitabh, his name. Then I was introduced to him. He came out after the pack-up. So Salim Saab had met him somewhere earlier. Both of us were talking to him and he is waiting for his taxi. So the taxi came and he went to it. That's all. That was a very uneventful meeting. Meanwhile, I saw some of the films that did not do well. Parwana, Bombay to Goa. There was one more film. There was excerpt of one of his films in Guddi. And suddenly I felt, after seeing these 2-3 films, that this man is a major talent. And both of us agreed on this, that, my God, what an actor he is. Unfortunately, his films were not doing well that time. So we had written this film, script, Zanjeer. Again, I must tell you this, people, that the basic idea and the basic storyline of Zanjeer is of Salim Saab. We did a screenplay together, but the story is Salim Saab's. And then I did the dialogue. So the script was ready. Prakash Mehra was going to make it, but there is no hero available. Now, in retrospect, you will feel why there was no hero available. No one was willing to do the film. Because those were the times of Rajesh Khanna and super hit music of Fadi Burman and Lakshmikant Pyarelal. And here we had written a script where the hero had no songs, where there was no romance, he would not have any light-hearted scene and so on. So, at that point of time, people would wonder what kind of a hero is this? वो शुरू से मुंह चढ़ाए हुए गुस्से में घूम रहा है तक ये कोई हीरो है तो no actor was willing to do this role. And we kept on saying कि आप इसको ले लीजिए अमिताभ बच्चन को. By the time Mr. Prakash Mehra would make up his mind, another Amitabh Bachchan film would come and fail. So he would get discouraged. But ultimately, he had no choice. But I must appreciate Mr. Prakash Mehra, that in spite of so many film stars rejecting that script, which was written by comparatively newcomers, we were not the star writers that time, he did not drop the script. I did not understand the gravitas of this. I understand it now. Hats off to that man. Otherwise, today, if a person writes best script in the world and 3 stars reject that, the producer will throw away the script. Because obviously nobody understands the script better than a star, you know. So, yeah. But he did not. Hats off to him. So one day, I found out his phone number and I called him. And I introduced myself. I said, maybe you remember, maybe you don't. We had met there. I'm a writer. And I want to narrate a script to you. So when can I meet you? वो भी कुछ बहुत बिजी नहीं थे. तो उन्होंने कहा आप अभी आ जाइए. So I took his address. He used to live on the 7th Road in a house called Mangal. तो I went there. तो मैंने कहा मैं आपको स्क्रिप्ट सुना देता हूँ, प्रोड्यूसर से मैं आपको मिला देता हूँ और आप कोई उसके टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन डिस्कस ना कीजिए, बस पिक्चर कर लीजिए कैसे भी हो सके. तो इसे सुनाइए. तो आई नरेटेड द स्क्रिप्ट. So I still remember very clearly that he looked at me with certain wonder. He said, do you think I can pull this role? Because till that time he was playing poet and doctor and writer and so on. So ये मैं कर सकता हूँ. But nobody can do it better than you. No one. So we spoke to Mr. Prakash Mehra. Then he was working in a film called Gehri Chal, where Hema ji and Jitendra Sahab, or ye, 3 of them were in that film, and the shooting was going on in Raj Kamal. So I took Mr. Prakash Mehra there and introduced him. Thankfully, the deal was on and he signed the film. So that was the beginning. But अगर ये जंजीर नहीं भी होती, तो अब major talent like Amitabh Bachchan could not have been stopped. That's not possible. वो ही नहीं सकता. He would have become successful one way or the other. इतना बड़ा talent waste हो जाए तो possible ही नहीं. मुझसे लोग पूछते हैं what is the secret of success? क्या तरकीब है successful होने? So I give them an example. I said, look at the big rivers of the world. Amazon, the river. Nile, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Volga, all these rivers. They have found their own way to reach the ocean, which is their success. But if you look at their trajectory, their route, each route is different. But if there is thrust of talent, and it is powerful enough to find its way one way or the other, it can cut the mountains, it can go through the deserts, it can find its way through the jungles, it will reach the ocean. So Amitabh Bachchan had to be successful. It's just a matter of chance that he came along, he got this film. Otherwise, some other film would have been there.
But Javed Sahab, Amitabh Bachchan had a predecessor of sorts in Rajesh Khanna, all the different kind of actors. And Rajesh Khanna had a predecessor in sorts and lots of other superstars that happened before Rajesh Khanna. You know, Shammi Kapoor, Raj Kapoor, so many others. When it comes to screenwriting, Javed Sahab, actually one could argue that you guys, both you and Salim Sahab, actually had no predecessors to a point that I don't think it exists even now, that one, tell me if it's true, that a screenwriter would take 25% profits of a film. One. Second, screenwriters were not even credited, and perhaps even now most movies are not credited. You took a drunk person in Juhu, gave him a stencil, and asked him to write Salim Javed in every poster of Zanjeer, from Juhu to Opera House. You asked for it and you did it yourself. That has no precedence.
Yeah, you know, we were very young. We were very young. By the time, I mean, when Sholay and Zanjeer were released, when the year they were released, I was 30. It means I had written when I was 27, 26. That's all. 27 at the most. Because they took time to be made. ये जो एक यंग एज की इग्नोरेंस है ना और एरोगेंस है, वो बाद में आप अचीव नहीं कर सकते. वो तो उसी एज में होती है. लोग बोलते हैं यू मेड डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फिल्म, इट हैड डिफरेंट सेंसिबिलिटी. हमें तो कुछ पता ही नहीं था कि डिफरेंट सेंसिबिलिटी है या डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फिल्म है. वी थॉट दिस इज द वे वी वांट टू राइट एंड दैट्स अबाउट ऑल. गाने नहीं, इसमें गाने नहीं हो सकते. देयर वाज नो फियर or any element that there is a risk. We were not aware of the risk. We were not aware कि कोई बुरा मान जाएगा कि इसने हमारा नाम क्यों नहीं दिया, लिख दो पोस्टर पे नाम. जाके 2 आदमी दिए जीप में, उनको ब्रश दिया, कलर दिया, जाओ पेंट कर दो हमारा नाम. हीरो के मुंह पे, हीरोइन की नाक पे, कैरेक्टर एक्टर के माथे पे, जहाँ भी जगह मिले. Perhaps today I won't do that. I'm saying perhaps because let the producers think he may. बस तो बट वो एक एज होती है और उस एज का जो एरोगेंस है वो एक अलग ही होता है. तो वो था, हम दोनों में ही था. और द काइंड ऑफ प्राइजेस वी आस्क्ड वर अनबिलीवेबल. आपको एक आई मस्ट टेल यू वन लिटिल एनेक्डोट, दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. When our first film was Andaz, which was a hit. Second film was Hathi Mere Saathi, major hit. Then third film was Sita Aur Geeta, huge hit. Then the fourth film was, all of them, these are Golden Jubilee picture. Golden Jubilee means 50-week runner. Then Zanjeer, super duper hit. And we got a lot of credit from Zanjeer. So we decided that time the highest paid writer used to get something like 70,000, 80,000. Highest paid. We decided we will take 2 lakhs. Meanwhile, since we had already written 4 films, I had bought a ambassador car, second-hand ambassador car in 13,000 rupees. So ultimately that was also sold. For 9 months we did not get a film after these 4 hits. And Sippy Films were paying us 750 rupees, 750 rupees each. So that was our sustenance. We were living on 750 rupees each. And there was no film. Nobody was willing to give us this money. At a party, I met a big producer. I don't want to name. He is no longer in the world. So he said, Javed, तेरे पास कोई स्क्रिप्ट है यार? तो मैंने कहा जी स्क्रिप्ट तो है, मगर पैसे वैसे का प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, लोग पैसा देने को तैयार नहीं. अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं, मेरे को तो अच्छी स्क्रिप्ट दे यार, पैसा मेरा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. यार ये तो बड़ा अच्छा आदमी है. तो मैंने कहा ज़रूर, फिर कल आ जाओ ऑफिस में, आ जाओ, मुझे सुना दे, वहीं से वहीं कर देंगे यार, पसंद आई तो ठीक. सो आई वेंट टू द ऑफिस विद द स्क्रिप्ट, and that script was complete with dialogue, everything. That is what we used to give, complete script, detailed. तो मैंने कहा देखिए, इससे पहले कि मैं नरेट करूं, suppose I narrate the script, you like it, and then I ask for the price, you will say, oh, since I have liked it, he is asking that much money. तो मैं आपको पैसा पहले बता देता हूँ, don't pay me a penny, पैसा बता देता हूँ, उसके बाद आप स्क्रिप्ट सुन लीजिए कि अगर आपको पसंद आई तो ये प्राइस हो. बाद में बोलूँगा तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि ये मेरी पसंद की प्राइस मांग रहा है. हाँ हाँ बोल दो. मैं 2 लाख. There was total silence. He kept looking down. Then he pressed the bell. Ting, 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 ting. So the peon opened the door. He named his partner, who was in the same office. उसको बुलाओ जरा. Again he was sitting looking down, very serious. I just don't know. I thought maybe now he wants to finalize the deal, so the partner should also be there to decide this price and so on. Yeah. Total. After a couple of minutes, which were like 2 hours for me at that time, The partner opened the door and he was rather preoccupied. हाँ बोल क्या बात है? So this producer said, looked at me, जो मेरे को बोला था इसको भी बोलना. He thought, if I go away and he will tell his partner, the partner won't believe. अरे छोड़, झूठ बोल रहा है तू. तो उसने 5 टांग का बकरा देखा था, तो वो अपने पार्टनर को भी दिखाना चाहा, देखो बकरे के 5 टांग हैं. But ultimately, Prem Ji, again a producer who had made some very successful films like Dushman, Dost, he gave us 2 lakhs for the first try.
Which film?
That was Majboor.